Today we're gonna take a look at my TikTok saves, the recipe folder. So many cool ideas tend to accumulate in there. I don't go back to it as often as I would like to, get inspired and such. But that's why we're here today. I picked 7 TikToks to recreate, and they're all somewhat breakfast related. It might happen though that I go in and tweak a TikTok idea a little bit. On the one hand, to make it vegan, but also I do like to go off script sometimes. So we'll see what happens. Up first, we are testing this Panini Press peanut butter banana breakfast wrap, but swapping the Panini Press for a waffle maker because I don't have a Panini Press. Alright, so first I'm spreading half of a large whole wheat tortilla with some crunchy natural peanut butter. Then I'm sprinkling on top some salt, cinnamon, and brown sugar. Next I'm adding a whole banana, and then I'm rolling it up. Honestly, I think I'm going to do a little bit more as glue. And that is it. Now I'm heating up my waffle iron, and then I'm realizing that my wrap to waffle maker ratio is a bit off, and so I'm cutting the wrap in half and then letting both halves cook for about 3 minutes. I did not grease or butter it beforehand, but I guess you could do that. This is really nice. I would definitely have this again for breakfast. I served this with some tea, and then I would also recommend to have some plain yogurt on the side to kind of dip the wrap in, because I feel like it still needs a little bit of freshness. But this was delicious. We are keeping up with the banana theme for the next recipe. This is a lovely 5-minute pan-fried banana chocolate granola bowl. So here we go. Place some quick cooking oats in a non-stick skillet, have the heat over medium, and then push the oats to one side. Cut a banana into slices and place those right next to the oats. You're gonna drizzle over some syrup. This is not in the video, but I'm also adding a sprinkle of salt to the oats. In the TikTok, they're cooking the banana slices like so, flipping them quite carefully. But the recipe, as far as I know, doesn't list any butter or oil. And maybe this is just my pan, but you can see things are slightly starting to stick. So I did decide to add a teaspoon or 2 of vegan butter. Helps with the sticking, helps with making everything taste a bit richer. But anyway, I'm cooking everything for about 3 minutes or until slightly golden brown. As for my breakfast drink, I'm finally using this ready-made chai matcha powder. The packaging says to use up everything at once. I went with 1 to 2 teaspoons only. That was nice. Back to the granola. I'm serving this, like in the video, with some plain yogurt, adding a handful of semi-sweet chocolate chips, which makes the chocolate kind of melt a little bit if you let this sit for like a minute or 2. Would recommend, would have again, really liked it.
Did you know that you can freeze Dalgona coffee? Just scoop out about a tablespoon, add it to your milk. Let me show you how to make this.
The way I immediately got out of bed to make that yesterday, insane.
I honestly can't believe I've never made Dalgona on here. It's probably because in 2020 I wasn't a coffee drinker yet. Anyway, this TikTok talks about making a big batch of Dalgona and freezing it, basically meal prepping your coffee. You add the same amounts of instant coffee granules, sugar, and hot boiling water into a large mixing bowl. And then using a hand mixer, you're gonna mix this until whipped. I made a second batch right after because this was not enough, and that one, for some reason, I felt like whipped a lot quicker. Anyway, I'm transferring everything to this comically large Tupperware container and then letting that sit in the freezer overnight. And then the next morning, I'm putting together my iced Dalgona latte. That morning, I picked up a vegan chocolate croissant from the organic store, which is only $1.80, I believe. And oh my goodness, dipping it into the coffee cream was life-changing, like genuinely. It's strangely not fully frozen. I don't know what that's about. For some reason I did expect this to just be ice cream texture, but it was in the freezer overnight. So there you go. But yeah, on its own it's really intense, but together with the milk it's so nice. Next is this little aesthetic toast idea. It just looks so cute. Basically, using a small teaspoon, you press heart shapes into untoasted sandwich bread. Okay, that looks good to me. I don't have a toaster oven like they do in the video, but I thought using a regular toaster would work. And then it's on to carefully scooping some jam into the heart-shaped holes. And then the second piece of toast, they spread with cream cheese. Although I think nut butter, like peanut butter, almond butter, could be really good here as well. And there you go. Okay, flavor-wise, this was not a surprise, but it is a really cute idea. And I feel like if you're ever in the mood for more of a whimsical breakfast, then I would definitely recommend to try this. Moving on to something savory. This idea is loosely based on this TikTok.
One of the biggest reasons people hesitate to go vegan is eggs. I get it, I used to love eggs too. They are delicious and so convenient. That is, until I found the perfect vegan eggs recipe.
First, I'm making the quick fried rice. I'm pan frying some chopped onion and some chopped carrot over medium heat for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then I'm adding some minced garlic and giving that another 2 minutes before pouring in a splash of soju. Letting this cook for 1 to 2 minutes or until the liquid has pretty much evaporated, and then I'm mixing in some pre-cooked brown rice. I'm adding a splash of water here, putting a very fitting lid on top, and just letting this cook until the rice is nice and fluffy. And then I'm seasoning everything with soy sauce, ketchup, sriracha, and sesame oil. And then I'm letting everything pan fry for another 2 to 3 minutes. Last but not least, I threw in some spring onion. That's pretty much it. Now on to the quote-unquote egg. I'm blending up silken tofu, chickpea flour, salt, baking powder, a teaspoon of sugar and vinegar, turmeric, black salt, oat milk, and a little bit of rice flour. And then depending on the size of your skillet, I would say to go for about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup per omelette. Definitely do be careful, the batter is quite fragile. Flipping it like a regular pancake can be a bit messy. In my opinion, the best way to cook this is to simply just letting the first side cook for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then you carefully flip over to opposite sides like a little burrito, and then you put on a lid and let it sit and kind of steam for another 2 to 3 minutes. Before serving, definitely make sure to sprinkle over a final sprinkle of black salt. Moving on to this next recipe, which looked too wild for me not to try. So these are Ricepaper froyo bites. Alright, so first we're dipping a sheet of rice paper in some water. It's going to soften even more as we're adding the fillings, which those are just mango flavored protein yogurt and frozen blueberries. Right, now once the rice paper is soft enough, I'm just folding all the sides inwards. And then I'm wrapping everything in some cling foil. And then I also made a second one because I thought this was going to be good. But anyway, this is what this looks like after having been in the freezer for 2 hours. You know, it doesn't taste bad, the rice paper. makes for an interesting yogurt vessel. I don't know. I don't think I like biting into very frozen yogurt. It's an odd consistency for me personally, but I could understand how someone might like that. I like chewy, mochi type of consistency, but this is not quite hitting that either. Another idea that I've just thought of is using ice cream instead of yogurt. That could be interesting. But then that's moving into dessert territory rather than being a breakfast snack. Cinnamon swirl pancakes like these ones have been on my list of things to try, even before TikTok. And so this recipe here is more so inspired by the concept that we see in these TikToks. I'm gonna be relying on my trusted go-to vegan pancake recipe and then adding a simple cinnamon filling. First, in a large mixing bowl, I'm combining all the wet ingredients: oat milk, vinegar, vanilla, applesauce. And I'm setting that aside, and in the meantime, I'm combining the dry ingredients. So that's flour, salt, baking powder, and sugar. I'm mixing together dry and wet. And there we go, pancake batter. It took me a few times to get the filling right. The first time around, I used way too much butter. And then my second attempt was way too thick because I decided to use a lot of brown sugar. But attempt number 3 was a success. In a small bowl, I mixed together melted vegan butter, date syrup, cinnamon, a little bit of salt, and some flour. Then I transferred this to a little plastic bag. Meanwhile, there's a lightly greased nonstick skillet preheating to medium, and then I'm using about 2 heaping ice cream scoops worth of batter for each pancake, and I'm adding the filling immediately. I let these cook for about 3 minutes per side. You can also definitely cook multiple at the same time, but I went for a tiny pan. But there you go. I had these next to some iced coffee and a little frosting consisting of melted vegan butter, powdered sugar, and some vegan cream cheese or vegan sour cream to stay in line with the cinnamon roll theme. They taste like cinnamon cereal or cinnamon sugar donuts to me, which I love. Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. If you're gonna be doing any recipe recreating from this video, tag me in your Instagram stories. Or if you're down to make a TikTok, you can tag me as well. Again, I don't post much on there. I am mainly there just to consume. But so I definitely will see it if you tag me. I will definitely see it. Last but not least, make sure to stick around for the sponsor. Because maybe you need a website. Squarespace makes it really easy to create a beautiful website, connect to your audience, share your art, sell your products, sell your content, and more. Start by choosing from their wide range of professionally designed website templates to get started, or build your site from scratch if you prefer. Also, create a new logo while you're at it. Have your website quickly get discovered with their optimized SEO tools, meaning you will show up more often in people's search engines and therefore grow your brand and business the way you want. If you need extra help, don't hesitate to ask their 24/7 award-winning customer service. Start today. Go to squarespace.com/MeNowRome and use the code MeNowRome to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.